hypnotic subject. I got a couple folks that I'm going to ask to come forward and help me. Sir, your name is? Ken. You don't have to volunteer if you don't want, but would you volunteer?
I thought that I would be the most unlikely ever.
Well, then you'd be my favorite. Come on, Ken, if you don't mind. Come on up here. I need a chair. May I? I'll tell you, I always get a kick out of this. You think that you'd be the most unlikely hypnotic subject that there ever was in the whole wide world ever, right? Check this out. Take a moment, would you? Would you pick a spot up there, one of those lights on the top of the ceiling? Take a nice deep breath, would you? Breathe in deeply, Ken. Remember how you were feeling just a few minutes ago? Remember that sensation? Just listen to voice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sleep. Way down deep. Loose, limp, relax. Obviously a decent hypnotic subject. Ken's the one who doesn't think he can be hypnotized. I love this. Count of 3, sitting up straight in chair. 1, 2, 3, sitting up straight in chair. Nice deep breath, Ken. Breathe in deeply. Sleep way down deep. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep going deeper and deeper. Loose, limp, relaxed, and unwound. Deeper and deeper, all the way down. Deeper and deeper until I ask you to awaken. All right. I may as well just stick with Ken here. I mean, why? Why look a gift horse in the mouth? All right, Ken is just an excellent hypnotic subject, and please take a lesson from him right away. Ken, for whatever reason, felt that I would not be a good subject. No one could ever hypnotize me. It just can't happen, and yet obviously he is way above average. He's a better than average subject, and all he's demonstrating here is the ability, the capacity to take an image and transmit it into action. Now, in other words, you get a good visualizer, and you ask them to visualize the tips of their fingers as 2 magnets, and the fingers will act as if they're 2 magnets. You ask a good visualizer to imagine a balloon connected to their arm, and the arm will float into the air as if it had a balloon connected to it. Now, what we're going to do, of course, is say, visualize yourself as a master's level CLU, and you'll be driven to be a master's level CLU. Visualize yourself making $500,000 a year, and you'd be motivated to make $500,000. It's those pictures in your head that are bringing about actions. Now, let's take a look at what we got here. Ken is a very good visualizer, and I've asked him to visualize being loose and limp and relaxed and unwound. And once again, you got to admit, this is pretty darn relaxed, folks. This is a perfect state of relaxation. If all you did was allowed yourself to get this relaxed a few minutes each day, just let go, go into your office and just get, kick back and just let go for 5 minutes a day, do you think this would benefit you? Just learning to get this relaxed a few minutes each day. So I think there's benefits just to the relaxation part of it. But there's more to it than that. He's visualizing relaxation, so he's very, very relaxed. What's the opposite of relaxation? Tension. Let me give you the opposite of it. So extend your arm. Use your imagination, sir. Imagine the arm's getting stiff and rigid, stiff and rigid, like a bar of steel. I'm going to count backwards from 3 down to 1. That arm's getting more stiff and more rigid. 3, stiff and rigid. 2, like a bar of steel. 1, it feels like a steel bar welded into your shoulder now. Ken, you can try to lower the arm, but it's not going to go down. In fact, the harder you try, the more stiff and rigid that arm's going to get. Your arm is stiff and rigid like a bar of steel. You're Ken too, right? Why don't you press down on his arm and report to the group what that feels like? Good, give it a good shot, because not bad, huh? Now you try to imitate that. Try to make your arm as stiff and as rigid. Are you ready? Come on, don't be a wimp. Let me show you. You try it. This is what this guy's doing. I mean, this is a genuine, solid, it's like a block of ice. You could almost sit on this arm. It's an unbelievable degree of rigidity. Also, why? Because in his mind, he's visualizing it. He's picturing it as a bar of steel, so it's acting like a bar of steel. Imagine instead of being focused on a bar of steel, what if he was focused on $500,000 a year? What if he was focused on master's level? See what focus does? See the degree of focus and strength it gives you? 3, 2, 1, sleep. Wait, Andy. 5. He's falling out of the chair here. I got a flopper. Count of 3, stick up straight in the chair. 1, 2, 3. Marbles in your mouth. Can't say a word till I touch your forehead. Yeah. What'd you say your name was, sir? I'm sorry. What'd your name? I didn't catch that. What'd you say your name was, sir? What company do you work with?
Smith Barney.
What's that again?
Smith Barney.
Okay. Why can't you talk? Do you think you're hypnotized? I guess so. Yes, I guess so. How you feeling right now? Okay? Okay, sleep. Wait, Eddie. 5, 4, 3, 2. Deep sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice deep breath. Breathe in deeply. Exhale, complete. Another big problem I think folks have in your position would be emotional blocks. Would you agree? Fear of rejection, fear of failure, don't want to pick up the phone and set the appointment, don't want to ask for referrals because of fear. Would you agree? So if you can tap into emotions, wouldn't this be another excellent tool for helping you? Now I'm going to kind of show you tapping into emotions in sort of a kind of a humorous way. Here's an example of tapping into emotions. Ken, I want you to use your imagination. I'm going to count backwards from 3 down to 1. As I count backwards, I'd like you to imagine that you're hearing the punchline of the funniest joke in the entire world. Funniest joke you've ever heard in your life, and Ken, it's just going to keep getting funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier. 3, it's the funniest thing you have ever heard in your life. 2, it's outrageously, hilariously funny. It's the funniest joke in the entire world, and the harder you laugh, the better you'll feel. 3, 2, and 1. You've just heard, Ken, the funniest joke in the world, and it just keeps getting funnier. There it goes. And funnier, and funnier, and funnier, and funnier. When I stamp my foot, it gets 10 times. 10 times funnier, Ken. It is outrageously, hilariously funny. And you'll just keep laughing harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. There you go. The harder you laugh, the better you'll feel, Ken. Funnier than that. 10 times funnier than that. It just keeps getting funnier and funnier and funnier. The funniest joke in the entire world. Now, keeps going. Funnier. 10 times funnier than that, Ken. The funniest thing you ever heard in your life. There it goes. Ah. Now, what'd you see? Come on, funny. 10 times. 100 times funnier. There you go. Oh, that's all it was. Now, he's tapping into emotions here, folks. And, of course, this is 100 times funnier. The funniest joke you have ever heard. It is. And the harder you laugh, the funnier it'll get. Okay, now he's tapping into emotions here, right? He's laughing, but watch this. Sleep. Wait, Andy. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That is, pardon? That.
The guy was having a ball.
He was having a ball. I stopped. Why should I stop it when I did it? What you just saw there, him stopping the way he stopped, is actually indicative of a great degree of emotional control. To stop like that on a dime is not easy to do. You try it. You try laughing that hard and then stopping like that dead. That's an example of emotional control. I got one other thing here to show you. I'm going to extend your arm here. Ken, this arm is frozen solid like a block of ice. Can't lift it. Frozen solid. Cannot lift it, move it, extend it in any way until I touch your forehead. That arm is frozen solid like a block of ice. 1, 2, 3, eyes wide open. Arm frozen solid like a block of ice. Wide open. You can now talk easily and quickly. All right. Now, your name, sir, is?
Ken.
I thought so. Okay. You're having a little trouble before. Do you think you're hypnotized right now?
No, I don't.
You don't. You think you're wide awake?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Do me a favor. Lift your right arm for me, would you? Excellent. Would you try to lift your left arm for me, see what happens? As hard as you can. I'll tell you what, you can use this arm and see if that helps you. You know, see if that gives you an advantage. But you're not hypnotized, right?
No, it can't be.
It can't be. Okay, I didn't think so. Now, let's do a real quick test, Ken. What motivates people in your position? What motivates CLUs? Good. Oh, good. Very good answer. Goodwill. No, a lot of people, I say a lot of people in the financial services industry, especially if I'm dealing with salespeople, a lot of people shout out, money motivates business. Well, I like to point out that I don't think money motivates people nearly as much as you've been led to believe. I think what motivates most people are these little pictures that go on inside their head. Believe it or not, I think if you are focused on goodwill, that would motivate you. If you're focused on helping people, that would motivate you. If you're focused on improving your industry, that would motivate you. But I don't think money motivates many people. And I'm going to test that proposition. Ken, are you hypnotized? Be honest.
No, I can't be.
Can't be. Okay, would you try to extend your left arm then? I'll tell you what, Ken, I'll give you $10 if you extend that arm. Just keep sticking tighter. I'll give you $20 if you extend the arm. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $50 if you extend the arm. I'll I'm not going to money. I'll give you $100. I'll give you $500 if you extend the arm. $500 if you extend that arm. I'll give you $1,000, Ken, if you extend your arm. I'll give you $1,000 if you extend that arm. Well, I'll give you $2,000 then, okay? I'll give you $5,000, Ken. I'll write you a check right now. $5,000 if you extend that. I'll give you $5,000. You can argue on it. Won't make any difference. I'll give you the price is right. $5,000. My last offer, $5,000. This is it. If you're going to do it now. $5,000. I'll give you $5,000, Ken, if you extend the arm. Ken, do you think you're hypnotized?
No.
Sleep. Wait, Andy. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Is this guy beautiful or what, man? Am I glad I found him? Could I borrow a chair, please? Could I have a chair? Yeah, excellent, sir. If I could have just this, if I could have it over here, if you don't mind. Thank you. Actually, you can put it right there. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Wherever you want.
Right there is fine. Ken, I want you to. You can. Right there is fine. Thank you very much. Grab this chair, Ken. Tighter. That hand is locked to that chair. In a moment, when I count to 5, you will wake up. You'll have no memory of being hypnotized at all. You'll think you just came up here and dozed off for a second. That hand is stuck tight to that chair. You cannot let go of that chair no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, until I clap my hands, and you won't even know the chair is there. As far as you're concerned, everything is normal to count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sitting up straight in the chair, waking up completely. How you doing?
Good.
All right, do you think you've been hypnotized up here?
I heard you talking about me holding this chair.
Okay, well, let's see you try to let go of it then. Well, I'll tell you what, you can go back to your seat if you want. Thanks. Yes.
I can't let go of the chair.
Well, go back. I need to continue. You can go back to your seat if you want.
I don't want to lug this chair.
Isn't it amazing the baggage we carry around with us? And we're not even aware of it. Come on, Ken, back to your seat there. Would you give Ken a round of applause for being so brave? Just come up here. Thank you very much. Let me see you let go of the chair, Ken.
I can't do it.
Yes, Ken, you can. You're out of hypnosis, right?
I can't do it.
Come on, let me see you let go of the chair.
I can't.
What's the analogy here, folks? You know, you can ask for referrals, can't you? Can't do it. You can ask for $1 million deals, can't you? Can't do it. You can deal with a certain type of client, can't you? Can't do it. I don't get along with those people. I don't feel comfortable. I just can't do it. Isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same kind of baggage you carry around? And 90% of it's up here. Would you agree? All right, now Ken's been kind enough, so why don't you come on up here for just a second and let's make this worth your while. Ken, do you have any goals you'd really, really like to achieve in 1997? You don't have to tell me what they are, but do you have some primary goals for 97? Would you take a moment and locate one of those primary goals for yourself? Don't have to tell me what it is, but just locate it in your mind. Tell me when you've got it in your mind. Got it clear in your mind? Beautiful. Sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, what I want you to do, Ken, is in a moment I'm going to touch your forehead and we're going to remove that hand from the chair. Excellent. Now, take a nice deep breath and go even deeper to sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, Ken, I want you to take that goal that you've just chosen and I want you to use your imagination and I want you to imagine that it's sometime in the future after you have achieved your goal for 1997. I want you to take a moment and visualize yourself looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and I want you to imagine that it's in the future after you have achieved the goal. Take as long as you need, but when you've got that in your mind, just nod your head to signal me. Excellent. Is this the way you really want it to be? Are you sure? Beautiful. When I touch your forehead, I want you to lock that picture into your mind. Listen very carefully, Ken. Most important thing I'm going to say to you all day. From this moment and this moment forward, you and you alone are in complete and total control of this state of mind. You're going to be able to give yourself suggestions anytime you want, any place you want. You're going to be able to get back into this wonderful, peaceful state whenever and wherever you want, just by picking a spot to look at, just like you did here. Take a couple nice deep breaths, just like you did here, and then slowly counting backwards from 5 down to 1. As you count backwards, you'll feel your body loosening and relaxing. Your eyelids will close. By the time you reach the number 1, you're going to be just like you are now, loose and limp and relaxed, able to give yourself suggestions that are every bit as powerful as any suggestions that I could possibly give you. Did you understand those suggestions? Beautiful. Now, when you want to wake up, all you have to do to wake up is count forward in your mind from 1 to 5, and you'll wake up feeling wonderful, rested, refreshed, invigorated, and relaxed. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to wake you up, but when I wake you up, you're going to discover that your name is Bob, B-O-B. Starts with a B, ends with a B. Your name is Bob until I touch your forehead again. At the count of 5, wide awake, your name is Bob. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wide awake. All right, now how long do you think you've been sitting up here for in minutes?
About 7.
About 7 minutes. And what did you say your name was?
Yeah.
What's your name, though?
Bob?
Bob? And what's your last name? What's your name? What's your name?
Bob?
Yeah, I thought so. How do you spell that?
B-O-B.
B-O-B. I thought that's the way you spelled it. What's your name again?
Bob.
Bob. Starts with a B? Ends with a B? Okay. O in the middle? What's your name again?
Bob?
I thought so. Okay. Now, and what's your last name? Needham. And what's your name tag say?
Ken.
So what's your name?
Ken.
What is your name?
It's Ken.
Good. What's your name?
Ken Needham.
Good. Give this guy a round of applause, would you? This guy was just excellent. Thank you very much. Now, just wait a second before you go. Just for the benefit of the group, was this a plant? I mean, have I ever met you before?
When I came up here, I said, I've seen hypnosis many times, and I said, no one can hypnotize me. Now, I was aware of what you were saying, and I said, is this hypnosis? Because I was truly, totally relaxed and under. But like, as you had me hold the chair, I literally couldn't let go. I knew what was going on. I knew what you were saying.
Have I ever met you before in any context anywhere before? Never before, and you've never been hypnotized before, ever?
Never.
It's Uncle Bob, yeah.
Anybody could hypnotize me.
And please take a lesson from that, folks. There are a number of you in the group here that are probably having the same thoughts. Nobody could ever do this. This would never work for me. Never in a million years. And yet the fact is, the bell curve. Most of you could be hypnotized, and it would benefit you to learn to do so as a goal-setting technique. Now, just one real quick thing, just to make sure that you're 100% here. Would you pick a spot to look at, take a nice deep breath, and just out loud, would you count backwards from 5 down to 1 and see what happens?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This guy's beautiful, isn't he? Okay, nice deep breath, Bob. I mean, Ken. Nice deep breath. Count of 5, eyes wide open, totally wide awake, completely out of it, totally and completely in control. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wide awake. Thanks again. Give this guy a round of applause. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you. Best of luck. And folks, that is really only one way that you can internalize goals. I do want to kind of summate very quickly. If you're not programming yourself, I think you need to be at some level. If you're not reading affirmations, writing your goals down, getting your goals on tape, giving yourself rewards and punishments, or visualizing, then find something else. But you should be doing something at least once or twice a week to keep your goals clear and sharp and vivid. Because any of you who have been in the business any more than a couple of days have probably already discovered, typically motivation doesn't last very long. If you're really going to set your sights on a target in this business and get motivated toward it, you need to be refreshing that on a regular basis. Ken, was very kind to come up here, and that's just one way of doing it. There are a number of other ways. Any of you going to MDRT, by the way? I'll be speaking Wednesday afternoon. Come and see me. We're going to have a blast at MDRT. They specifically asked for the hypnosis, and I expect to hypnotize a couple dozen people up there. It should be pretty wild. Yeah, we get them falling on the floors and stuff. When I have a little bit more time, it'll be a little bit more outrageous. But are there any questions? Yes? Yes, it's great. That's true. I had forgotten. I'll be speaking in Clearwater at the Florida Convention. Thank you for reminding me. And where else am I speaking that you folks might have something to do with? I guess I spoke at the LAMP meeting 2 weeks ago, and that was a pretty big deal. Yes, sir.
How long before his conscious mind can take back over?
Well, his conscious mind has taken back over. He was never out of control. As you can see, by trying to change his name, he didn't like that. Did you see him fighting that? And if I had tried to change his name permanently, it would have never worked in a million years. You can't make people do something they don't want to do. You can't give them suggestions they don't want to accept. Most of my suggestions, like the arm frozen, can't get up out of the chair, those are neutral suggestions. If I tried to tell him to do something that was obnoxious or unpleasant to him,
how long before he would be able to let go?
Okay, you've all heard, very good question. How long, what if I walked out of the room and left him stuck to the chair? Let's say it the way we mean it. Okay, you've all heard the cases of people that go to a hypnotist to stop smoking and never touch another cigarette. I mean, they go once, they never ever touch another cigarette. That happens, it really does. Care to venture a guess how often that happens percentage-wise? About 2% of the time. I mean, that bell curve, you'll get 2% of the super good subjects. It's conceivable that there are people that if you told them they were stuck to the chair, they would be stuck until they went back to a hypnotist days later and got it unstuck. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Most people, if you did it just once, it would wear off in 15 or 20 minutes, half hour, hour. Most people, it just isn't. But the theory says that if you spent 5 minutes a day, every day for a month, imagining that your hand was stuck to that chair within a month, you'd have that permanent hysterical paralysis I was talking about. So most people can stop smoking if they would do it every day for a month. Most of you could learn to internalize the goal of qualifying or getting to the master's level if you did it every day for a month. If you go home tonight and say, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, I'm going to visualize myself at master's level, it may motivate you tomorrow, but it's not going to have much of a permanent effect. But if you got into the habit of doing it every day for a month, within a month, that would be the new focus. If your goal was to go from 100,000 to 200 to 200 to 4, and you did it every day for a month, theory says within a month, that would be the focus. It's simple. It's easy. It takes 5 minutes. Try it. Give it a month. See if it works for you. Most of you would be surprised.